Hey Commanders fans, welcome back to Commanders HQ. The team is in full-on off-season mode, looking for ways to improve and take the next step toward a Super Bowl run. After an impressive 2024 season that saw Washington reach the NFC Championship game, expectations are sky high. But to stay competitive, the Commanders need to keep building. That means making smart moves in free agency and maximizing Jayden Daniels' rookie contract window. Before we dive into the latest Commanders news, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all things Washington Commanders. Now, let's talk about a move that could shake things up in the nation's capital. Davante Adams potentially coming to Washington. Could this be the splash signing the Commanders need? Let's break it all down. One of the biggest priorities for the Commanders this offseason is finding Jayden Daniels more weapons in the passing game. Terry McLaurin is an elite receiver, but Washington needs another top-tier playmaker to take this offense to the next level. While some fans are dreaming of T. Higgins, others think a more cost-effective approach would be better. However, a new name is emerging in the conversation: Davante Adams. With Aaron Rodgers leaving the New York Jets, Adams' future in New York is all but over. The Jets could try to trade him, but most teams are unlikely to take on his massive contract when they know he could be released. This makes Adams a prime candidate to hit free agency, and Washington has the cap space to make a move. Christopher Knox from Bleacher Report has listed the Commanders as a potential landing spot for Adams, alongside the Los Angeles Chargers. According to Knox, the Washington Commanders could use a high-end number 2 receiver opposite Terry McLaurin and have $5 million in projected cap space. The Los Angeles Chargers have $65.6 million in projected cap room and could use a veteran to partner with young wideouts Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston. Adams is likely to have a very limited market unless he's willing to take a substantial pay cut. The big question is, would Adams be willing to take less money to join a rising contender like Washington? And if so, should the Commanders make him a priority? Adams may not be in his prime anymore, but he's still an elite receiver. He topped 1,000 yards last season despite playing in a struggling offense. His explosiveness might not be what it once was, but his route running, hands, and football IQ make him one of the best technicians in the league. If he joins Washington, Adams wouldn't have to be the number 1 target. That job belongs to McLaurin. But having Adams as a secondary option could be a game changer for Daniels and the entire offense. Defenses wouldn't be able to key in on just McLaurin, opening up more opportunities for both receivers. The biggest obstacle? Adams' past comments about Washington's organization and fan base. He hasn't always been complimentary about the team, and that could make a potential signing a bit awkward. But winning changes everything. If he sees the Commanders as true Super Bowl contenders, Adams may reconsider. While adding Adams would be a luxury, Washington has other pressing needs, especially on defense. The Commanders are reportedly in the mix for Cleveland Browns superstar pass rusher Myles Garrett, and that would be a franchise-altering move. If Garrett becomes available, Washington must be aggressive. Additionally, Washington's defensive line was a weak spot last season. General Manager Adam Peters must address that. And one of the most intriguing free agents on the market is Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle Osa Odighizuwa. At just 26 years old, Odighizuwa is coming off a career-best season and has familiarity with Commanders head coach Dan Quinn. Signing him would fill a major need while also weakening a division rival. The numbers back up why Washington needs to bolster the defensive line. According to Pro Football Focus, of the 14 teams that made the playoffs in 2024, only 4 of them failed to have at least 2 defensive tackles ranked in the top 50. The Commanders' best interior defender, Jonathan Allen, ranked just 70th, and he missed half the season with an injury. Washington's run to the NFC Championship game was even more impressive considering how weak their defensive line was. Teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles have built their rosters around dominant defensive tackles. If Washington wants to make a Super Bowl run, strengthening the defensive interior should be a top priority. You can't talk about this rookie class without starting with Jayden Daniels. Selected number 2 overall, Daniels came into Washington with huge expectations, and he delivered in every way possible. Daniels not only lived up to the hype, but he also shattered expectations, setting rookie records with a 69.0% completion rate and 891 rushing yards. His dual threat ability kept defenses guessing, and his composure under pressure showed that Washington finally has the franchise quarterback it has been searching for. Think about this. The Commanders had been cycling through quarterbacks for years, but now, with Daniels under center, this team has stability at the most important position in football. Whether it was making big throws in the pocket, escaping pressure, or leading clutch drives, Daniels showed time and time again that he's the real deal. And let's not forget his playoff performances. That upset win over the Detroit Lions? Daniels was a key reason why Washington pulled it off. The future is bright in DC, and it starts with him. The Commanders' defensive rookies also made their mark, and it starts with Jayden Newton. When Jonathan Allen went down with an injury, Newton stepped up and showed why he was a second-round pick. His quickness, power, and ability to disrupt plays in the backfield gave Washington a much-needed boost. While he's still developing, it's clear that he has all the tools to be a force on the defensive line for years to come. Then there's Mike Sainristil, who might just be one of the biggest steals of the draft. Originally expected to play mostly as a slot corner, Sainristil was forced into a larger role due to injuries, and he absolutely thrived. The Michigan product finished the season with 4 interceptions, including 2 in the playoff win against the Lions. This guy is a playmaker, and Washington may have just found a long-term solution in the secondary. We all know how important it is to protect a young quarterback, and that's why Brandon Coleman was such an important pick. The third-round offensive tackle started 12 games and played a huge role in keeping Jayden Daniels upright. The left side of the offensive line was a big question mark heading into the season, but Coleman's performance showed that Washington made the right choice. If he continues to develop, at this pace, he could be a cornerstone piece for years to come. And in a division with dominant pass rushers like Micah Parsons and Hassan Reddick, having a solid left tackle is absolutely crucial. While the big names stole the spotlight, other rookies also contributed in key ways. Tight end Ben Sinnott didn't get as much playing time due to Zach Ertz's resurgence, but he still flashed his potential in limited snaps. His ability as a blocker and pass catcher should make him a key part of the offense moving forward. Luke McCaffrey, the former quarterback turned receiver, was considered more of a developmental project, but he still found ways to contribute, particularly as a kick returner. His versatility could make him a valuable piece for Washington in the future. Defensively, Jordan Magee and Javonte Jean-Baptiste worked their way into the rotation, adding much-needed depth to the front seven. And while Dominique Hampton spent the season adjusting to a position switch from safety to linebacker, he still provided value on special teams and could carve out a larger role in 2025. Signing Davante Adams would make Washington's offense more explosive, no question about it. But at what cost? If he's asking for top-tier wide receiver money, the Commanders should pass. However, if Adams is willing to take a team-friendly deal, he could be the missing piece to make this offense truly elite. Washington's Super Bowl window is open right now, and adding more playmakers around Jayden Daniels should be a priority. The biggest challenge will be balancing needs. Does the front office prioritize a superstar receiver, or should they focus on defense first? Now, we want to hear from you. Should the Commanders go all in on Davante Adams, or should they focus on improving the defense instead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Commanders news, rumors, and analysis. We're just getting started this offseason, and big moves are coming. Stay tuned, and as always, hail to the Commanders.